Yeah, this will be a short little video. Did I ever tell you about the teeth? You see, up here, right, we have big teeth in the front. We have two. Now, that is covered by what do you call it? The disability. Okay, and there's four on the bottom, the smaller ones, and those are covered by disability to put white. The rest are not covered. The white, they only get silver. Okay, but with the two front teeth on the top, we still have 14 teeth, which is Rubik's Cube. Again, the freedom. Okay, but we have we have 6, 6, and 2. And on the bottom, we have 5, 4, and 5. So freedom of 55, 2 and 4. 2 and 4 is 6 man, 2 times 4 is 8 to heaven. 28, plus that 8, 36 total with that addition, which makes you a creation of man. So we can even count it in our teeth now, in our nose. And that little thing that's in the middle of our head, I'd like to get in and see him. I want to have a talk with him. I want more information. I want to get up into that big super train computer up in the sky, and I want to just be able to connect the same way as we type right here on this internet. I know there's a way in. There's got to be a way in. There's no way in the world that I can learn and know whatever I know in 1 year. It's impossible. It's only a year since I started to use it. Whatever I didn't know last year, my first 150, I was a little nuts and I had absolutely no idea what was, I knew what was going on, but I just couldn't grab it and create it into something. Now I grabbed it and I put it into something. Well, I've been putting it into something for a while now. I don't know. Doesn't matter how many pages I wrote. Sometimes I write nice, sometimes I don't. This is the piano board, okay? A to G. Okay, now if you take a look, there's only one letter, okay? And it's the B that has 2 eyes. Everybody else is turned sideways, okay? Except for the D, and that's the angel. It only has 1 eye in the center because its passage is the 5 passage. You see, no matter what you do, okay, 1379 is always connected to you. And no matter what the beta world does, she's also connected to core 5 in your phone. It's 5, but keep counting. Go to 9, go back to 1, this be 10, back to 9, and be 18, to 1 is 27, and then you go again, and you add it up, and 14 ends up to be in the center. 41 is at the beginning, okay, of a new section, but 45 is in the middle, and it ends at 49. And then it goes on to the next 3 years. Well, creation comes in again, and that would be in section 3 on your phone, and that would create 52, if I'm correct. And 52 is the number. And the man of Christ is supposed to be the age of the heart, and the age of the earth. Although he's 74, he has to be 52 to be able to come onto this line. So 74 and 52 equals 126. One spirit of beta man. Works out perfect. So that means he would have had to have been born 2014, Tishrei, had to be born 1963. That's what those two numbers put out anyways. And like I said with this here, okay, the D is the angel. Okay, it's the ace. It's the inside of the ace that captures the delta part, the Greek part, okay? Delta is angel. I've been using it the whole time. It means angle. It's the inside of the ace. And when we end the game Jack, Queen, King, Ace, totaling 50. And at the same time, dog and cat together, they're one is a 26, one is a 24 letter count together, they make 50. And I put together maybe 10 of them. Can I mention another one of 50? The 2 dice, without the east and west. The 5 dice, that totals 50. The 10 card, that totals 50. 50 weeks in a year, 2 months, 2 weeks we take vacation. Well, that's a simple 50. I don't like to do that. 4 50s are 200 bicentennial. Those are the 50s, and don't forget in Monopoly we go by the 40s. So we play by the periods of 50s and 40s, which is the year 2000. 2000, 2000, 2000. The 225 years that are missing is when God was still in creation. He had to get from one level to the next. So there'd be 225 years in production. Okay. What else is there? I don't know if I showed you the little beehive. That's what it's going to look like at the end. Okay, there's something missing in there, but that's what it's going to basically look like at the end. That's our new system. We need this system to live. Okay, crisscrossing spirits everywhere. X's all over. Wherever you go, it's a 10. It's a 5 and a 10, a 5 and a 10. And a 5 and a 10 are always the railroads. You're either away by 5 or you're away by 5. It's less than 5 or more than 5. And you can go backwards and forwards or across in the matrix world. So, and the biggest thing is a cross in the matrix world. It's the cross. Oh my God. 7, Z, N, the tilting towers of the aces. Because the I that stands up this way, when you, I mean, who stabilizes that I? I mean, it falls down to an ace. And an I birth becomes like this. Either stands up like this, an I birth. Hold on a second. Let me show you this properly. Okay? The I birth stands up like this. Okay? This is the H. This is the I birth. Okay? Now, who's predicting where this is going to go? And it's going to tilt inside. Either it's going to be an ace, okay, or it's going to be an H, a heaven's birth. So if it's a heaven's birth, okay, it needs this connection. And standing up, you see 1 and 1, 11. That's what happens. They become 11 with this connection. Without that connection, they just be standing next to each other like the Twin Towers. And the Twin Towers missed the connection, so they came down. And secondly, the Twin Towers resembled a cross. And they weren't standing like this, they were standing like this. So they had to crumble, whether it was God's doing, whether it was ours doing, it's all in the manuscript. God looked at all the corners, he knew what everybody was going to do. And also, it's inside the chemistry for the evolution of the mind, certain things. And he has no choice but to use certain passages that are not really good for us, but in the long run, in the second life, they will help us a lot more than we think. This is not a short game, you know. Although they say there's millions and billions and thousands of years, it's not a short game. This is a long game. Just because you only saw 50 years and you looked at the Bible and you saw what people did and you didn't like the 50 years you were here and you heard about everybody else's life that was here. But there are some perfect lives here. There are still some perfect lives here. Okay. And no, it's not the easiest place. I'm one of the lucky people, and people would say I'm not lucky. People call me nuts. They're crazy. They don't want to talk to me. They look away from me. They watch to make sure I'm not going to say anything. So, you know, and then when I go places, you know, how you doing? Are you working? Are you making money? Making money? Listen, that's the thing. If you can get away with that, to be able to go forward on your endeavors, you just have that money. We're all willing to work. Okay? It's just that, you know what? We give you whatever. You get you just, okay? You know what? There's about 7 billion people on this earth right now, and if everybody was paid $30,000, man, woman, and child, that would take up, I think, $250 trillion. So that's how much it costs to feed everybody. You have to take the $30,000 for everybody, but there's other considerations. People go to work, you got to pay for the people now. So now you're not only paying for your food and your house, but you have to pay for the other people to do the services. So now the 30,000 is no longer 30,000. Eventually you will see there's nothing really much left of it. And there's very few out there with particularly, I'd say the porcupine are the people who are left over with money. That would be the porcupine people. They just stick up their spines and they protect, you know, like an alligator protect. The snowflake, creation of the snowflake, it's those two symbols right there. You can widen them out They do look like old-time spaceships of some sort. The other one too. One is the I stand and the H stand. They will all turn into faces eventually if I want, by bubbling or almonding them out. Hold on. And they all crisscross each other, okay? But when you see an 8 mark on a snowflake, what you're actually seeing is you're seeing the two worlds together in one. You're seeing the cross in one. You can do it in one, in a 1D, 2D. You can do it. It's very hard to do, but you can do the 4-way. But it's only east, west, north, south, southeast, southwest. It's not that hard. It's 1/8. 1/8, I think, is 220 yards. 220 yards means light. And I think I went over this in the video before. Why 22? 22 is the 22nd letter. It's a B. Okay? Your life and the angel life. You put them together, you got the X-Man, you got the 10, you got the 4 angel with the 6 man, you got the B, you got the life. Once you got the angle, okay? Angel, angle, matrix, whatever you want to call it, it exists. Anyways, I came up with a new date, and one of my dates is April, where is it? I lost the paper. Anyways, April 4th, I think, is it? April 4th, 2012 will be 144 days after November 11th. That's all it means. And November 11th, to the end of the year, is 51 days. And they're predicting something to happen by the 9th, and I'm saying the 11th or the 10th. And it's 51 days, and 51 days means we're bang in the middle of Rubik's Cube on the number 5 on your telephone. So that's like scaring me a little bit, but I'm here in Quebec, so I don't have to run too far up north, and I don't know how it's going to happen, but maybe nothing's going to happen, you know what I'm saying? Something, I don't know. Anyways, Quebec's a good place. I just keep bumping into Ohio, I don't know, and down the Mississippi. You know, there's no Highway 45 in the U.S. at all. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting about Texas. Yeah, Texas is another state. It's the Lone Star State. It's the only highway that's got Highway 45 right up its bodily spleen, just like in the middle of the telephone. 4-5. You should see it. That's the 5 dice right in Fort Worth, Dallas, Texas. Intertwining highways, if I can remember, the 25, the 35, which runs up to Kansas. So you got a central running up to a central. Kansas running along Highway 70, all those tornadoes. No wonder. The numbers, they just fit. They fit in my book. If you ever do mark a 4 next to a 6, do you know what happens to it when the 2 lines meet? The 5 turns it, excuse me, when you put a 4 next to a 5, when you put a 4 next to a 5, when you put a 4 next to a 5, it turns into a 4-6. And then it actually looks like a 6 and an L sticking up. And because all your creations will create letters. It's just like that. It's not a coincidence. It was patterned that way to become that way, to end up to be this. It was a shape. Whatever God did ended up as a shape of some sort. And when he did something with it, let's say we were rowing the boat. Hey, Jacques! Which is Jack, of course. But Jacques is Jack the King. And he's rowing. He goes, Jacques! He goes, no, it's Jack! He goes, what do you want? And of course, they're speaking a little bit of English. They spoke Greek. They spoke Spanish. And a little bit of English. So when God said on the mountain to Moses, I am, he says. I am. He didn't say, I am. I am who I am. I am who I am. Because he was French and he didn't pronounce the H. I am who I am. I am who I am. L'chaim. Very important. Very important, the Scotch. Very important to look at that bottle of Chivas Regal for sure. There's got to be something on the case. I know there's gold and silver on the case or on the bottle. Oh, a Chivas Regal, take a look at it, my friends. There's something deeper into that. I told you, what God did, okay, he imprinted it into our minds, and we re-imprinted it, okay, into designs.